right, AFC East Shakedown trio is here. Zach from the Patriots is not going to be. He didn't have a game last week. Captain D's not going to be here, so we got my man Tommy from Mafia Sports Report. I'm sure he's very excited about talking last week's game, and of course we got Anthony down there. I know he's very excited about talking about last week's game. So we've got some very happy talk about last week, and then this week coming up, some real interesting games, I think, at least for two of us. So let's kick it off. Anthony.
Oh my God,
Anthony.
Write the book on how to lose games, man. 8-point lead in the fourth quarter with the ball in your hands. You got to finish the game. I mean, the Jets controlled the game for the most part. Didn't punt until late in the game. The whole first half, neither of us punted. It's just kind of been the story of the season. I feel like I've talked about it ad nauseum. When the offense does well, the defense just does nothing. And when the defense is doing well, the offense is right there with them. It's been the worst version of complimentary football that we have seen in a very long time. I mean, this team is just awful, and they just invent new ways to lose. This game is over late in the game if Devontae Adams just catches that pass and stays in bounds, because Jets will be able to milk that clock down to about 12 seconds roughly after that catch, kick the field goal, and you guys get the ball with like 5 or 6 seconds left. And maybe we can actually kick the end zone instead of kick the returner to gear up a long kick return. Yeah, just writing the book on how to lose games is what this team is doing, and big reason as to why they're 3-10. But I know you're super excited, Curtis. You guys got the victory against us in an improbable fashion.
Oh, I thought it was over, but I think it was more than just that. I don't understand why you do an outside run on first down. Should have ran it inside. I didn't like that call. Anytime you run to the edges like that, it really. What happened?
Are you talking about that very last possession for the Jets?
Yeah, the last possession.
Yeah, that entire play call after the first down was just like stupid. First down. I mean, if they run it up the gut 3 times, they win the game. But they decided to get fancy on first down, a 5-yard loss on a pitch, and the pass on second down, and then obviously the pass outside on third down to the sideline. And I mean, Devontae Adams pointed out the refs probably should have blown the whistle. He was obviously giving himself up, and he just kind of got shoved out of bounds. Refs probably should have blown the whistle inbounds, wind the clock. But at the end of the day, you got to fight. You got to get down.
Yeah, that was stupid.
The game's on the line right there. You got to sit down, do whatever it takes to stay in bounds, and he didn't do it. And unfortunately, the clock stopped, giving you guys ample time to get into field goal range.
And then you decide to kick it in bounds.
Yeah,
and then
it was one thing after another. The Jets' defense was just awful. No pass rush at all in this game. I mean,
all you got is Quinnen Williams. Mosley and Sauce being out really, because you got 2 good cover guys, no real safeties. The other linebacker is pretty good, but Mosley was like a master of coverage and leadership. And then losing Sauce, and you got nobody else. Donald's not good.
Yeah, Sherwood was all over the field. I mean, he's been a pretty good field general overall, but when you lose the intelligence of C.J. Mosley, that's very hard to replace. I think that's a big part of the reason why this Jets defense is taking a major step back. His intelligence on the field, he's seen everything for years and years and years. He was obviously the quarterback of that defense for the last couple of years, and losing him so early in the season, losing Jermaine Johnson in week 2 to that
huge, especially in the run stop.
Mm-hmm. I mean, losing him basically made made Michael Clemens a run, your starter in run situations, which is a complete.
Whoa, hold the horses! We've got liftoff over here. I think Rick is enjoying your suffering, Anthony, and
making it rain for you.
Thank you, Rick. You're a good man, brother. You're a good man. Good man. Come on, man. You got to throw a question out there. You got to get your money's worth. Put something out there. Tell Anthony he's got to say his Jets are the worst team in the history of mankind. But for $9.99, you got to get your mileage, brother. How you doing, Rick? I appreciate it. I try to be honest. I do my best.
That's all we can do.
That's it, see how it plays out. So, I mean, look, the problem is that, Tua and with the leverage he's got with Hill and Waddle, they're able to just dump this ball off, and we can get up and down the field. You guys have a very vanilla style defense. It's basically what it says. We're going to play man for the most part. You just basically out talent us, and then when you lose Mosley, you lose Sauce, and you really don't have much of a pass rush. It's going to be a long day. So the good thing for you guys is that you kept us out of the end zone, which we got to take care of that. But I think it was coaching more than anything. I knew you were going to say that.
It's been the story of the season, man. It's just been one thing after another. I mean, hopefully it's just coaching, but always like players you want to step up. I mean, Quinton Williams getting triple team, double team, but I feel like that's been kind of the story for him. But there is nobody next to him. Javon Kinlaw was a complete waste of a free agent signing. JFM getting traded. I mean, I talked about it ad nauseum over the past few months.
Oh, that was my
trade that should have never happened. Hassan Reddick. I mean, yeah, it would have been a good. Hassan Reddick looked like a good signing at the time, but if you would have told me at the time it would have cost you JFM, I would have said, kind of see what Will McDonald has.
And you lost a second round pick for that too.
It was third round. It could have been escalated to a second. It could have escalated to a second based on playing time, which he's not going to.
No, it's not terrible. But
yeah, I mean it's not terrible, but he hasn't done anything. I'd rather have a third round pick than a player that's come in and actually produced absolutely nothing since he's been
not here. Me. I think it was a great move for you. I lamented over OBJ, but that's not the compared to that. We've got our own string of issues, but I don't want to talk about it. I want to stay positive. Stay positive. Tommy, come on. Tell me. You thought I got to stay positive, man. Tommy, tell me how awesome the Dolphins were in that comeback. How amazing was. How Fortnite Chess is going to kick off right now. Joe,
I did say the game would be close last weekend. You guys didn't. You all thought that the Jets were going to or the Dolphins were going to steamroll the Jets. I didn't. It's
Jets. That's what they do.
I know, but it's a division game. It's. I thought it would be a little closer than what you guys thought it would be, and it was. The Adams.
You're so special, Tommy. You are. So
I know.
Special.
I try to be special. I try to be. The Adams going out of bounds, though. That's what bad teams do. They just do shit like that. That's why you guys are 3-10. Like little dumb things like that cost you a game. And I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. But at the same time, like, yeah, it's the Jets. This is what the Jets do. They do dumb shit. So, listen, at the end of the day, the Dolphins did get the win. I did predict the Dolphins to win. It keeps their playoff hopes alive. I thought Tua played good. I thought Aaron Rodgers played pretty good for the most part.
He did. He played really well.
Yeah.
Game was a Jet.
Yeah. I thought Hill had his best game in a while. For the Dolphins, I thought he balled out. Garrett Wilson, Adams, except for the Adams going out of bounds, had good games. Running, there wasn't much running to brag about for either one. 24 yards for A-Chain, 43 from Allen. Nothing impressive on the ground.
44 on a day, I think, total.
Yeah, just not good. Not good. I would say the defense of the Jets is really disappointing. Really disappointing. Considering what I think a lot of people thought they were going to do this season, because, after last season and just the way the defense looked at a whole, a lot of young talent, a lot of Pro Bowlers, all pro, just something happened this season. I think firing Saleh kind of was the cherry on the top for the defense, really put them just back, even further back. I'm not saying they were playing great under Saleh this year to start, but they were a little better. I have no idea what you guys are going to do in the offseason, but boy, you got to correct that, because you guys really toned and dialed into the defense, and for your defense.
What are you going to do, Anthony? What are you going to do?
You have to figure it out. Coach. You have to hire a new coach and a defensive coordinator to know how to rally those guys and get them back into how they were playing before. But either way, the season is officially over for you guys as far as playoffs. I mean, we all knew it was anyways, but it put the stamp on it. And now it's all about point. Yeah, now it's all about draft, getting a coach, getting a GM, and drafting.
Anthony, I want to be honest here. I really do. I'm not really a big fan of Chris Greer in the Miami Dolphins situation, but I go to bed every night saying, "Thank God I'm not the Jets."
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, man. Listen, I got to do this. I don't really get too many opportunities to gloat and celebrate.
No, it's fine. Gloat all you want. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the Jets still have plenty of talent. It's really just going to come down to who this next head coach is. This current coaching staff wasn't getting the most out of this team. Obviously after the Saleh firing, say what you want about that. We've talked about that, plenty. But it's all about getting somebody who's going to come in here and just be a leader of this team and get things turned around. A lot of situations here, like these coachable moments, these are things that, I feel like you shouldn't be doing at the NFL level. I mean, I feel like these are things that even at the college level, these players understand. Getting out of bounds late in the game.
That's crazy for Devontae Adams too,
football,
man.
Yeah, situational football is something that
should know better. Odd,
of course. Mm-hmm. But these situational football things, I mean, I hope it's as simple as just get the coach and whoever the quarterback is, whether it be Aaron Rodgers or a new guy coming in, just be consistent. I mean, that's really what we're looking for here. That's what we were looking for out of Rodgers, was his defense to be what they were, take a step forward. The talent is still there. They're going to lose guys like Mosley, I would assume, after his injury. But there's still plenty of talent on this roster. They have to retool the defensive line. It is something that could be turned around quickly, but it really comes down to who that head coach is. And, if he comes in, if it's a guy like Vrabel who has, a legit, history as a head coach, come in, be a leader and get this thing going quickly. Do they go the young offensive coordinator, defense coordinator route where you're going to have that, time to kind of, figure out on the fly, on the job, how to do it. But the right coach could turn this thing around pretty quickly. But there's a lot of players coming up with new contracts needed, like Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall, that whole 2022 draft class. They're coming up to be paid. And it's going to be an interesting time for this team over the next 2 years to really identify who sticks, who goes.
I think Breece Hall's not a guy you want to keep.
Breece Hall?
Yeah, I like the other guy you drafted. I think he's pretty darn good, man. The young kid from this year.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to put too much money into
Allen.
We lost Tommy.
We lost Tommy for a sec. I like Braylon Allen. He got an opportunity this week to play a little bit more than he had in the past.
I thought he looked good.
Exactly. I thought he looked good too. They just abandoned the run way too fast. I mean, they were averaging 4 yards.
I know. Should have ran on the outside. Let's see. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Miami could have had Van Ginkel, Sealer, Phillips, Wilkins tied up. Yeah, we could have. And that's the thing too. I think the most important thing is not even the coach for you; it's the GM. You've got to get the right leader. Look, maybe my Dolphins win the next 4 games and go to playoffs. Whatever. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm not really big on Chris Greer. Yeah. It all starts with the GM. You get the right GM, he sets the right framework.
Yeah,
so that's really the whole thing.
I'm interested to see how the Jets go about it. I mean, there's been a lot of talks about the guy Ray Agnew, who's a big hot GM candidate from the Lions. He's one of their assistant GMs over there.
Oh, really?
Picking off the Lions team where you have draw a blank here. So you get Ray Agnew here. You can kind of pair him up with Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator over there. I'm not Dennis Allen. What the heck am I going?
The offensive coordinator. I don't remember names unless I'm on my own team. Billy, don't worry. I know you're talking about. Yeah. I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
The defensive coordinator I'm talking about. Ben Johnson, I don't think is coming here. I don't see that happening. Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator for the Lions, former Jet, former corner. Kind of picked up his name a little bit. He's going to be a head coach at some point over the next couple of years. He's a name that comes up a little bit. I mean, do you get a GM and a defense coordinator candidate that are familiar with themselves, similar to what the Giants did with Daboll and Shane, both coming from the Bills organization?
Hopefully it works out better than that.
I was about to say, obviously it hasn't worked out for them so far to this point, but maybe the Jets go somewhere that route because you have to have that like continuity. You have to have that like relationship with the head coach and GM. And Saleh and Douglas seem to have had that, but I don't know, something just missed.
Well, anytime things start falling apart and the pressure gets on, even the best relationships crumble. Everybody's trying to fight to keep themselves alive in the biz. Every time you get fired, you never know if you're going to get that gig back again. So it tends to happen.
Yeah, there's been reports that Belichick reached out to the Jets and they ignore the phone calls. I don't know how much I buy that.
Really? I don't think they would. I don't think they would ignore it. But I don't think he would even reach out to them. I don't even think he would reach out to them. That would be kind of weird.
That's the part that kind of confuses me. Why would Belichick call the Jets when he went openly on that Monday Night Football game, whatever it was, with Peyton and Eli, and basically ragged on the owner? How you have some balls? You have some balls. A couple months later, hey, I heard you hire, and look.
Look, I'm not a big Belichick fan, but it just seems very chic and trendy now to try to tear him down, and it's always the same. People trying to do the thing. Ace, if Adams stays in bounds and Lowly Jets win, are people running McDaniel to out of town? Yeah, they're prisoners of the moment. To me, it's pretty much what's going on, Sal. To me, it's always the same thing. It's we suck, and then you do something halfway decent. We're the best. It's up and down, up and down. I think that's why you got to extend out the evaluations. For me, I don't know about McDaniel. I like Tua. I think Tua's a quarterback you're going to keep. To me, it's all about Greer. Greer. He's the guy who sets the whole table. So, for me, if Greer's the right guy, then he'll make the right decisions. If he's not the right guy, get the right guy in here, let him make decisions. And because if he's the right guy, he's going to say McDaniel's the right guy, or he's not going to he's going to make the right decisions. So, but fans, I'm very interested to see. It's sad. It kind of saddens me a little bit because there was a time not too long ago people wouldn't put up with this kind of averageness and dysfunction and stuff. It's almost acceptable now. OBJ, people are what are you making a big deal out of it? We're broke. We got $3 million in dead cap money. We're thin. We're supposed to be trying to win this year. How do you just take $2.5 million and throw it out the window and a roster spot that you need and just be it's no big deal, Curtis. Why are you overreacting? It's not just that; it's the whole thing.
And the scary situation too, and we're kind of dealing with that too over here with the Jets. After when you have a GM that knows on life support and he has one off season left, they start doing some stupid shit. And they start signing players, squeezing as much out of them under the cap, and start pushing stuff out. You guys already have money pushed out to further years, but you give this guy one more year, and he's going to do whatever he can. And when you don't have a lot of cap space to work with, the only thing you can do is push things forward.
Yeah,
it makes it for a nightmare. Luckily for the Jets, it is under control to an extent where they can kind of move some of this money around and still have plenty of cap space next couple of years. Yeah, we have money, but a lot of these contracts that were given this last offseason, the Jets would be in better financial position if they would just have.
We're broke, man. We're so broke for 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's scary.
But you guys, I think you guys are in a good spot. I think that you can get them. You can find the right. It's kind of like the way I feel with the Dolphins. We don't find the right leaders.
They're not as buried as as the national media might make it seem. It just depends what they decide to do with Aaron Rodgers. Decides who they bring in. That's the biggest thing. Is you got to hire the right guys for the 45th time. 45th time's a charm. You just got to get the right guys. It's as simple as that. I know it's a difficult thing to say, but just got to have some intelligence on who you bring in, and it's got to be the right hire. Do you actually think that Greer? I feel like he's gotten his chances here. You actually think that he's going to be back next year? Where are you at? Percentage wise, you think he's where
95%.
That he'll be back?
Yeah, I usually I'll look at some of the top content providers, usually the ones that have access or close to access to the Dolphins, and really almost none of them, almost none of them are saying Greer's bad and fire him. They're all oh no. And so for me, they're the ones probably saying, hey, you know what? I need my access or my close to access. And so they kind of sense where this thing's going because Ross, I don't think once. Sorry, more about it. Ross, Ross doesn't want to move on. And he was dancing over this victory of the Jets, which I think he's legitimately should be excited. But, I mean, Greer's been total charge for 6 years. He's been pretty much in charge for 9 years. And he's been – I think one more win is all it takes. One more win. Maybe if we go 0 for 4 for the next and it's ugly, maybe. Stop lying to this minute. Jets are fed. Look, the whole thing is this. Dana, if they got the right leader, look at the Bills. They were languishing for decades. And then they got Bean. And Bean just made the right choices. And even this last season, when people were saying that Bills were dead, he made a lot of little moves that the players turned out to be starters. And he's kind of back. I mean, I don't know if they can, like I said, I think there's a weakness on him. Maybe I don't know if they can reach the final point. But they've done a masterful job about retooling in a very bad situation with Diggs. But it's about the leadership. And then, you figure if you watch historical trends, then next year they're going to be able to find some more guys, some more picks. They'll have some more money. And they're just going to add to this thing. But you look at my Dolphins, we've had an infinite amount of ammo. And we're the oldest team in the league. And we haven't won a damn thing. I mean, the Bills haven't won anything, but they made the conference championships. They won the division. I mean, they want more, but we haven't even won a playoff game in 20 years. So I think look at Peyton turning the Denver Broncos around. After getting rid of Wilson, all that money, it shows you what the right leadership looks like.
Draft capital they lost for Wilson, all that money they lost for
Wilson. And where they at. It's amazing. And they're just
amazing what a good leader does.
Yep. And it's amazing what a bad leader does. So, Anyway, Tommy, come on, tell us after you skipped out on us. What do you got to say?
He was bored with the Jets Miami talk. He's like, I get the frig out of here.
No, my princess was like, she never does that when I'm on a podcast. So I knew she had to go to the bathroom. So I had to step away and let her out because she never does that. But sorry about that. But yeah, no, listen, man. The Jets and the Dolphins are just, I don't know why you guys can't get it right. I mean, I knew. I shouldn't say that. Greer has to go. And will he? Probably not. It's something with these owners sometimes that get locked in on a certain coach or GM. Mm-hmm. And it's been like that for forever, right? In every sport. Like there's certain owners that just do not get it. And I don't know what ties they have with these people that they don't want to let them go, or just and it sets their franchise back so much. They don't realize the amount, like how badly they're hurting their franchise and setting them back by doing so. And I think Greer is an example of that. I think your owner needs to wake the fuck up, and he needs to move on from Greer and get a new GM in there, and hopefully change things around for you guys, for you Dolphin fans. I don't care, but Dolphin fans care. You guys haven't won a playoff game in 20 years. I mean, that's saying a lot, right? The Jets, same thing. The Jets haven't made the playoffs.
Thanks, Tommy. It's been nice hearing from you, Tommy. It's been good hearing from you. See you soon.
I'm sorry, but I will say this:
get in there and be mean like that, man.
It's easier said than
Anthony's the guy you got to pick on, not me.
I know, but look, easier said than done. Sometimes finding a right combination, right, of ownership, GM, and coach to kind of link up and make it work, right? You may, like I said before, you may get the right coach, but you may not get the right GM or vice versa.
Look at Vrabel with the Titans.
Right. Yeah. So it's just sometimes, man, it just has to connect. And then that's when you'll see that's when you'll see things start to look good, right? But until then, man, like I said, man, you got to keep trying though. The worst thing is to stay put and stay the same, and you're going to see the same results year after year after year, and that's what's going on. I think with the Dolphins and the Jets, you have to move on. You have to reach out to somebody else, man, and give somebody else a go at this. So that's where I see you guys, man, right now. I think the Dolphins, to be honest with you, went all in, and I think it failed miserably by going in. I'm not saying it was even bad at the time. Trading for Hill, you had a good, giving him a good sized contract. Giving extensions out like crazy. Yeah. It is what it is, right? I mean, you went all in. You thought this was the team, and it's not. Now you have to retool.
I didn't think that.
No, you didn't, but a lot of Dolphin fans did. A lot.
And it was easy to. I mean, I was a little uncertain.
And national media too, Curtis. It's not just you. I'm sorry, you were right, but it's not just Fin fans. I think national media.
That's a Tommy. I know you're a good guy, Tommy.
Yeah, no, you're pretty honest, and so is Captain D. But I would say this: the national media really sometimes gets into fans' heads and make them think that their team is actually better than they are, and everything's great and fine, and here's the power rankings this week, and and then everyone gets sold, and then the season starts and everything changes. So national media is not always right. They're actually a lot of the times wrong. Sometimes that's why I would say go to your local podcast like Curtis, right? Like Jets Life, like me, and you'll get your real talk from real talk from podcasts. Most of them, not every single one, but most of them know their teams, and then they know it well. So Curtis has been
Got to get in here. Got in here.
Yeah.
Look, Dana. We made the playoffs twice. Is that, look, if we had gone and had success this season, we were in a cap conscious environment. We saw this team wasn't the oldest team in the league. That would be a different story. The trajectory would be up, but essentially, and I'm not doom and gloom. My evaluations are pretty darn accurate. I'd rather be accurate, and if that happens to be doom and gloom, so be it. If I'm accurate and happens to be hope, then so be it. But the goals should be at least conference championship, and we're a long way from that. Absolutely. We mortgaged everything to get those 2 playoff appearances. And right now we're in the melting down phase. We have $3 million on our cap next year and like 36 players. The year after that, like 13 million, and it's at maybe 20 something players. Campbell's a great addition by Greer, but then how long is he going to play? How are you going to fill that spot? Ramsey's getting older. Fuller's getting older. We need an offensive line. So if we were built right, look at the Lions. Their team is full of draft picks. They're young. Their defense has been gutted, like a few defenses I've seen, and they keep doing it right because their philosophy, and that's the whole thing, Dana, is this. A dummy like me, potato head like me, said 3 years ago, the NFL is moving from fun ball to pass balance. You got to have an offensive line and a run game. And Greer tripled down on fun ball, rejected the offensive line as a critical unit, and then started loading up on edge rushers. You know how much capital we spent on edge rushers and wide receivers? And that's all well and good if you're putting tons of points on it and the other teams are throwing all day, but that's not what the league is. Greer is fighting the last battle. He's like the French and sitting at the Maginot line, and people are saying, look how pretty those fortresses are. And the Dolphins, we collapse every season. Why? Because we can't run the football. We don't have physicality. We don't have a great draft history. We're older. And so where are we headed? Maybe if you had 2 wins, I'd say something, but I don't know. I hate to see, I think that's a wrong evaluation, because if we fail this year, do you think it's more likely we'll win next year? Are we closer to beating the Bills? Are the Patriots getting better? Are we closer to beating KC? The Steelers are getting better. So it's like, at what point, what is our goal? For me, I'm going to be a dead man, before I can snap my fingers. I'd like to see a couple playoff wins and maybe a Super Bowl appearance, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You have somebody in there, Sea Devil or whatever. Listen, I'm not saying you should go by the Bills are the perfect team where the Bills are the greatest thing. Listen, just like Curtis said, honestly, the ultimate goal is a Super Bowl, and that's the ultimate goal. It should be the ultimate goal for every fan base out there, right? Every year you go into it, you want a Super Bowl, but you got to be realistic at the same time. Is your team good enough to even make the playoffs? 1, how far can they get in the playoffs? 2, and they getting there. So listen, the one thing the Bills haven't done well is getting to the Super Bowl. I get that. Year 8 under my coach, I'm not happy with it. If anyone watches my stuff, they know how I feel about my head coach. I think he's done a good job as far as regular season goes and building a roster, but we have our own struggles when it comes to the playoffs. But I feel like our GM has set us up in a good position that year in, year out. I'm confident enough to come on here and go, hey, we are a playoff team. But our problem is obviously getting to the big dance, which is the Super Bowl. With the Dolphins and the Jets, the problem is, and realistic people like Curtis and Anthony, and I don't know about Anthony to start the season, but realistic, you see the writing on the wall. You understand what's going on in front of you. You understand your team. You understand because you put the work in and you get it. You've seen it. You know what's going on. And the Dolphins have had problems, and Greer is one of them. And you're not going to go anywhere with that. You have to retool. You have to get him out of here. If you're a Dolphin fan, it's not about just hopefully we make the playoffs. You want to go in every year going, man, we are definitely a playoff team. Our GM has us on the right track. And I don't think either one of your GMs did. And that's why one GM's fired and the other one is a lot of fans want him fired. So
I want to talk about this. He brought, I like Paul, but Paul's not signed, sealed, and delivered. I think he's going to be at least a solid player. And, there's a lot of hype train on Brewer. And I think that he's really good for the system we like to run, which is outside zone and quick throwing. But why aren't we effective in short down situations? Why aren't we effective in red zone? Some of it's tight end. Some of it's Eichenberg. Some of it was Jackson when he was here. Some of it's Lamb. So there's a lot of reasons. But if we're not being you can go through, is Jackson worth what he's getting paid? No. Is Eichenberg with his draft selections? No. Why is Jones an inside zone guy on an outside zone team? How do you go into the season last year with Eichenberg as your primary backup at center? How do you let Hunt walk away? How do you have Myers, who's an undrafted free agent, as your backup center? Tehran, okay, you went all in him. I love Tehran, but you can't get off Tehran until next year. You're going to lose about $14 million on your cap next year for Tehran. And so is next year going to be our year? And if not, is Greer going to stock this team up with draft picks? How's his draft history? I mean, I like this draft so far, but if you had this many picks, you're going to find some guys. What about Rosen? What about Dieter? What about Noah? On and on it goes. What about Tyndall? What about EZ? This team is the oldest team in the league and had tons of picks. We lost a little bit because of Ross. And so there is some – Greer's not, he's his whole staff and him. They find some players. But if this was the right team, we wouldn't lose to every good team and we wouldn't stall out at every year. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am. But we'll see that tomorrow and going forward to the rest of the season. But at what point? Greer's been in charge 9 years. You want to say 2019, 6 years. Next year will be 7. How many? Do we give him a decade, 2 decades? At what point are we saying, hey, this guy is not the guy? That's for each person to come to the conclusion. But, how many years? How many?
Yeah, I say the same thing about our head coach. So I'm with you there, Curtis. Like, how long is enough? Like I always ask people the same thing. Like, I'm like, okay, you want to keep the head coach, but what is it going to take for you to finally go, we have to move on? Like, how many more years? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, while you're killing your quarterback or you're killing your team? Like, I'm with you, Kurt. Like, I think he's been there enough. You guys haven't accomplished what you needed to. It's time to move on. But
a lot of fans are happy with that, and
they shouldn't be. You should never be just happy.
But in the end, I believe in evaluation. So, like a guy like Sea Devil, he's happy, or he sees the vision forward, and he says that guards are incoming. Maybe we'll find out what the evaluation is. But Sea Devil, I want to. What's your cap? If next year we kind of repeat if we don't get the playoffs this year, and we repeat kind of the same formula next year, how many more years will you give Greer? And maybe next year he drafts some guards, but what's his history on hitting on guards? He's drafted a decent amount of offensive linemen. He's got 2 hits.
How long has he been there? How long's Greer been there?
He's been in total charge. He's been in total charge 9 years, but there's like a whole thing where he says 6 years.
9 years. 9 years, let's say, whatever. Let's say 8. Let's just like 7. Whatever. How many playoffs have you reached? How under him? How long have you been in the playoffs? How many years have you been in the playoffs under Greer?
2.
Okay. Come on, guys. The time is now. Like, you need to move on. That's not enough. That's unacceptable.
Well, we'll see. Look, hey, you know what?
I'm telling you, it's
I can only evaluate what I think. The Texans game, people are telling me the Texans aren't good, so we should beat them. We should beat a no-good San Fran team. We should be able to beat, okay, maybe we should beat Cleveland. We should beat all 4 of these teams if we're built the right way. So we'll see. We'll see. It's proofs in the pudding. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't.
Anyway, so Tommy, you've been beating on my team for a little bit, and
I know. Touch on one of the comments I see here on Dan Campbell was over his head by Indeed.
What happened?
There's a comment in here like about Dan Campbell being in over his head. Like we're talking about someone who was in over his head in a year and a half into his career. He turned it around. You're expecting assuming this comment is about giving Chris Greer a little more chance, a little more patience, giving someone, 7th year, 8th year, just in the sake of patience is a little different than giving Zach Taylor an extra year when he was in his second year, when giving Dan Campbell an extra year when he was in his second year. It's a completely different situation we're talking about here.
Big difference. You're year 8 and you expect a little bit more. And as a fan, you should expect more. I'm sorry. Like I expect more from my head coach, and on year 8, and we've only reached AFC Championship 1. I think it's unacceptable.
I think Devil, I think you got a fair point. I don't see it that way. I think we're doomed with as long as we have Greer. But wait.
So Devil, 2 out of 3 years playoffs, and you got kicked out the very first wild card game, each one. What is your ultimate goal? Just to reach the playoffs and get kicked out the first year, or is your ultimate goal to go further? You have to.
I think he's thinking next year. I think he's thinking next year. I think he's thinking like you got to do something next year.
You'll think you'll go from here, what you did this year, to making a run, like a legitimate run in the playoffs. I don't think so.
Look, I'm totally not on Sea Devil's take. But look, hey, if Tua doesn't go down, what are you looking like? I still don't think I think we're not in a position, but I kind of see
couple more wins, maybe.
Yeah, the goal is to win a Super Bowl. Do you think that if we put it together, we can reach the Super Bowl next year?
No.
You never know. I mean, I don't know.
No.
I don't think so. No, I think we got,
Stop.
Curtis is keeping his optimistic hat on.
I try to evaluate. Look, I try to be fair. I totally don't like Greer. I think he's incompetent. I think he's unscrupulous. I think he's dishonorable. But that's my evaluation, And so, I think there's plenty of information to say his character is not hard to trot. But you know what? If they win tomorrow, you extend it out. If they make, I think
you got more problems than Greer. I think McDaniel's a problem. So
I don't know.
You don't know, guys. He has 2 games he's won since he's been a head coach over teams over 500. That is flat out.
We've had a terrible. I don't
want to hear it, Kurt. But he's been here. How many years has he been your head coach?
3.
And you've gotten 2 wins in 3 years over team over 500. I'm sorry. That is bad. That's unacceptable. No, that's a mixture. That might be a mixture of both, but it doesn't matter. It's his team. Yeah. It's his players that he wants. You don't think he's part of the draft process? Of course he is. You don't think he comes in and wants and has a voice on the free agents he brings in? Of course. These are his issues too. Don't just always go back to the GM. He plays a part of the whole. Every coach does. They play a part of who they want to bring in, their type of guys.
Well, he made the choice for Easy over Zach Tom, which that was.
I'm just saying. I'm just. I'll give you that out there.
You're right.
I just think that he has to get better as a head coach too.
He has. But look, Tommy, you have to understand. Who in their right mind would go get a green head coach who's a run game coordinator who is in the booth, bring him in to be HCOC and give him no O-line and say, win now.
I agree.
Now.
But
I'm not saying I don't like McDaniel. For me, I grew up with guys that would slap you in a helmet and you'd be scared to heck of him. And then when you least expect it, they would say, good job, kid. And you'd feel great. That's who I think a coach is.
So you're
I'm
saying
not into the buddy. But, I got to be fair about his email.
Okay, but is there a disconnect between what McDaniel wants and Grier wants? Because clearly,
Grier's in charge.
No, I get it, but okay, he's in charge, but the coach has voice in what he wants, right? The coach could say, hey, what do you mean no? Of course he does. He could say, hey, we really need to no, you don't think he said
listen, you gotta be realistic. Wait. Tommy. Chris Grier has been in the organization for 24 years. He's been the GM for 9. He's been in absolute quote-unquote control for 6. You're bringing a green head coach, and he's sitting the guy down. He's saying, this is our philosophies. We like what you do. This is what we do. Do you think you could make it work? We'll help. We'll bend it, but this is our core philosophy.
But isn't the GM building around what the coach has in place? McDaniel wanted speed, right? You build a team with speed, didn't you?
No. I'll prove to you it's not. I'll prove to you it's not true. Okay. Nobody in their right mind would keep Liam Eichenberg starting and not bring any competition. Nobody, no coach. We had the first year we were here, our offensive line coach was in a battle with Frank Smith over Jones and Eichenberg starting. And eventually they got Eichenberg starting, and that offensive line coach was canned the next year, and then they brought Butch Barry in. And then it was Eichenberg. That if you go back and look at Grier's father with the Patriots, Kim and Carroll had fights. He was going to the owner behind his back. The players working behind his back. He wanted his players starting, and that whole thing fueled the breakup of Grier's father and Carroll and the Patriots. It's the same thing. Grier has total control, and he has I'm sure he listens to what he has. If you go back and listen to Mike McDaniel's like, oh, thank you for listening to me and taking it easy. This is great. Thank you for listening to me. He's not dictating because there's no run game coordinator that's going to come in here and go, I'm running with Eichenberg. Hey, I'm not drafting offensive linemen. Hey, no. I'm with that, but I also think McDaniel has a say, at least not a say, but he has a voice on what he wants or a team. As my wife would say, un poquito. Yeah. But I mean, isn't Grier building around Mike McDaniel's offensive scheme? I mean, it seems like it over the last 3 years. Everything has been speed. No, you don't think so? I think totally. Listen. What does he came from San Fran in the Shanahan system? So you're saying if you got a new GM, then how is McDaniel ever going to improve? So the GM would have to do what? So McDaniel has no say because he's so raw? No, it's not that he has no say. They have core philosophies. Then you got a major problem. I'm sure McDaniel has but that's the whole thing. Look at Flores. Grier cut Van Noy after giving him a mega contract 1 year into his contract to spite Flores. And it's not to say Flores was the greatest guy. And then he actually shipped Eric Flowers out for a 7th round draft pick when he was our best offensive lineman. 2 was started and the media found out before Flores could tell the team. So there's something going on here. Paul's a high pick, but Paul's a high pick. He had to. He had no choice. He had to add something. But it's not. I'm not here to say that everything Grier does is a failure. But no, he's done some good stuff. Yeah. I mean, he's brought in some good Campbell this year, Brooks this year. Yeah. But the totality, man, I don't know. But we're going on too much on the Dolphins. Yeah. Let's get into your Bills and the wonderful game you had last week. Yeah, it was. I know you were very happy. I was not. But I will say this for outside fans watching that game, that was a great game. That was a fun game absolutely. So thank you. You're welcome. Actually, you're very welcome for everyone that watched that game because that was Allen set records. Our defense was terrible.
listen, man, I've been saying it a long time, man. That bend don't break, that nickel soft zone crap that McDermott throws out there. And yes, it's Bobby Babbitt running the defense, but it's still Sean McDermott's defense. So don't get it twisted. That is McDermott defense scheme. And the problem with the bend don't break, nickel, soft zone crap is when it breaks, that's what you get. 44 points. And that's exactly what happened. The Rams sliced and diced us up and down the field all game long. We had no answer. And it took Josh Allen to be, go into the phone booth and try to become Superman. He almost did it, but you can't get down in the NFL 17 and expect to come back. It's very, very tough. So that's really what happened. At the end of the day, the defense did not show up. The Rams and Sean McVay had a great game plan. They got what's his name out of the pocket all day long. Stafford, yeah, which Stafford very rarely does that. And I was like, what a great game plan. They had him rolling out a lot. So it was buying him more time. Our defensive, because we only rushed 4. So our defensive line was doing terrible, could not get to him. And they had him rolling out at the same time, buying him more time. And sometimes you got to tip your cap, man. Puka Nacua is unbelievable. I mean, he was making some great catches, and he's the real deal. Cooper Kupp had himself a game too. They made some fantastic catches. You can't. Some of those catches were well guarded. It is what it is. And at the end of the day, I was pleased with the offense. I was pleased that Josh Allen had a record-setting day.
Unbelievable day, man.
Oh, unbelievable! Yeah, it's good to see. Here's my take from really the game too. It's good to see that if we need Allen and the Bills' offense to go into a dogfight and have to, get a lot of points, it could be done, right? It seems like that it can be done. And I never really did not have any faith in Josh Allen. It was really the rest of the team. Can they step up? We were still missing Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid. We still put up a lot of points. Khalil Shakir is becoming a household name, I think. That dude is really good. And I don't
think you called it, man. You called it. You called it
a couple years ago. Yeah, and I
You're
think
not as dumb as you
better.
look. I mean, I want to give you that compliment.
Yeah, thank you. Our defensive line very undersized.
Compliment there.
Yeah, Ed Oliver. Yeah, Ed Oliver is undersized. He needs a better DT next to him. Problem is Daquan Jones is a shell of himself this year, so it's not really complimenting Ed Oliver because Ed Oliver is undersized. So he needs that bigger DT next to him. That's a really good DT to really make Ed Oliver flourish, and it's not happening. And that's why Ed Oliver's really having a rough season, and we're not getting home to the quarterback. So you saw it in that game, and man, I tell you what, man, I hope this, when we play the Lions this Sunday, that the defense at least responds better. I think the Lions are still going to put up points, but show me something better. Give me a more effort against the Lions than he did against the Rams, because that was just it was ugly. It was really, really ugly. Block punt. Special teams coordinator needs to be fired. Smiley, he's terrible. Our coverage unit is terrible. He definitely needs to go, and for some reason he's been on this team for a while now. But other than that, man, proud of Allen. I can't wait to see this game coming up against the Lions, see how the defense responds. But other than that, I mean, the game played out, not how I wanted it to be. I thought we would win. Unfortunately, we didn't. But at the end of the day, Curtis, listen, we punched our ticket into the playoffs already. Now it's really about that 1 seed, which is slim chance of getting very
KC
slim.
Seems to be
very slim, and everything bounces their way. Everything. Watching that KC game, fucking ball hit the goalpost, still goes in. If it's Bills, that hits the goalpost, bounces out, we lose the game, right? Like that's exactly. But I don't know. I don't get it with the Chiefs. They have the football gods on their side sometimes. But either way, it is still in play. But right now, man, I hope we respond better. That's all.
Hey, answer Sal's question of it. Bills draft the press corner for zone defense with first-round pick Bean or McDermott.
Listen, are you talking about Elam? Are you talking about when we drafted Elam?
Yeah, it must be Elam.
So Kaiir Elam has been a huge disappointment. You know what it is? I just don't think he fits the scheme. And I don't think he ever did. I think they took a flyer on him, which is weird, first round. That's more on McDermott. Obviously Bean made the draft pick, but McDermott, once again, coach has say too, and McDermott is a defensive-minded head coach. He should have known that he probably doesn't fit the scheme. He's a man coverage DB. He's physical. I like Kaiir Elam. I think every time he's come in, he's done pretty well. But once again, Curtis, I don't know if you know this, he's back in the doghouse. He is not going to play.
No, I didn't hear. I know Elam's back in the doghouse.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So Elam came out. He said, "I don't know what to do. I don't know what to, like." Basically, he's just all about giving. He doesn't get it. So it looks like Ingram is going to start over Elam.
That's bad news.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, look, I go back to, if you're McDermott, and this is why, like, other things I don't like about McDermott, it's like, if he's not working out, get what you can for him. You could have went and told Brandon Bean at the time, I don't have a place for him here. Let's just take whatever we can. 5th round, 6th round. It's over now, guys. He's going to have to just remain on a rookie deal, and we're just going to either wind up releasing him or just rookie contract will end up. I think it's next year's last year, and that's it. But now you just wasted this guy and give him an opportunity somewhere else where he can maybe flourish. You're just wasting him away. I'm shocked he hasn't asked for his release or a trade. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't think, and I'll tell you why it's not a big deal, Curtis, why it's not really like, Bills Mafia's not freaking out about it. It's because Christian Benford wound up working out, and he's a really good corner. So it's almost like the Kaiir Elam thing is kind of like, it's whatever.
Yeah, but Rasul Douglas is almost on his way out, so you have to.
He is on his way. I think he is. I think Rasul Douglas is he's definitely taken a step back this year. I don't think he's played terrible, but you can tell he's lost a step.
Yeah. He's not a pretty place for these corners.
Yeah, we need to.
How old is he now? He's 29 or 30.
He's getting up there. I'm not sure. I have to look at his age, but he's been in the league a little while. But either way, I don't think our plan was to keep him long term. So we will address that in the draft. I'm sure they will. But I think my more important thing is addressing the defensive line. It has not been good since really McDermott's been here. We've been undersized. I don't understand why. And they need to address that, because that's why our run defense is where it's at. And that's why sometimes we just cannot get to the quarterback, because we only rush 4. It's McDermott's scheme. So if they can't get home and they can't get pressure, this is how you see games playing out. Quarterbacks will carve you up if they have time. So that's what happened against the Rams in a nutshell.
Yeah. So, okay. Anthony, you've been sitting there patient, going over who the top GMs are for the Jets. This is your chance to get back. Tommy is very rude to you and very nasty, not like me at all. And so this is your opportunity to dig into Mr. Tommy.
I know we haven't got a lot of opportunities. It's been a long time since we've been able to rat on the Bills. This week is our chance. At the end of the day, like you said, Tommy, can't get down 17 points in the NFL, especially against a guy like Sean McVay, who brilliant offensive mind. He'll keep the points coming if you make it as simple as the Bills are doing it. And you guys made it interesting. Josh Allen was able to kind of capitalize in a couple situations, scored 6 touchdowns total in this game, got you guys within range. And all this defense really had to do in that second half was just stop them at some point. Just stop them. Even down to that very last drive.
You know how that feels, Anthony, don't you?
Oh yeah, I know.
And by the way, too, I didn't even
watch the Jets game just without the points.
I didn't even mention our idiotic coach moment at the end of the game where he burns a timeout, knowing we need 3, right? And Tom Brady's up there in the announce booth going, You don't do it. Don't call time. What are you doing? What are you doing? Now you have to kick it. Our coach, I will say this about our coach. I love the guy. I think the guy's done really, really good since he's been here. Got this team from the dirt all the way up and a good playoff team. But in moments like this, this is why I don't want him as our head coach, because I feel like in playoff moments, especially playoffs, thank God this is a regular season game. Who cares? But it's the playoffs when things get tight, when we don't have the lead and we're going against a better offensive-minded team, a team, he tends to go in a shell and he makes these terrible clock management. Forget about it, terrible. He makes bad timeouts calls. He doesn't go for it on fourth. So answer me this. So if you watch the game, we're down, I believe, 10. It's like a minute left or something. 4th and 2 on the Rams side. Why wouldn't you go for it? Knowing at that time.
Because he's skittish. He's got the shaky bones, Dorsey disease.
But I'll go back to us. Against the Chiefs, he went for it on 4th down, and we got it. I thought he was turning the page and going, okay, finally, because sometimes you have to do that. You have to trust in your offense. You have to understand the flow of the game. If you go for it there, we pick it up. Let's say we even score a field goal before the half. We maybe win this game by 1 point, or we score a touchdown. We maybe win this. It's little plays like that cost a game that people go back and go, what if? And how do you not trust Josh Allen on a 4th and 2? You've seen him do it multiple times. What do you got to lose? You're down 10. Your defense isn't stopping them for anything. And by the way, we punted. The Rams, I am shocked, did not try to go for it down the field and score. They actually played it safe and pretty much just kneeled the ball. But either way, like our coach, that's why I get upset with our coach, because in playoff moments, if you go back in the history of Sean McDermott and this team, one, the defense has let us down year after year after year after year, pretty much. He's a defensive-minded head coach. It should never happen. Never.
13 seconds, Tommy.
13 seconds will live in that will go down like in history, right? Like unacceptable. I go back to it. It's not even the defensive part. It's the whole thing. We scored a touchdown. You have plenty of time to go over to your special teams coach and say, hey, what are we doing here? Are we kicking it out of bounds? What do you want to do here? No, you don't do anything, right? You and a special teams coach, like, I have a disconnect, right? You want one thing, he wants another. It's already fucked up, right? Because that's what happens. He tends to tighten up. Then you play a soft zone. No, I mean, it's unacceptable. He did it this year against Houston when we were in our own end zone. You have to know clock management. You can't throw the ball 3 times deep. What are you doing? You give Houston plenty of time. This is what I'm talking about. And when we hit the playoffs, guys, this is why we exit out, because of plays like the little calls like that, little things like that. I thought McDermott was turning it over a little bit, getting better. But this last game proved to me once again, he tightens up at the worst moments. The worst moments. You can't do it. I don't know. Like, I really hope, honestly, Curtis, at this point, and I keep saying, I think our offense is pretty much going to have to lead the way in the playoffs. And Josh Allen would have to absolutely go like nuts, like he did in the Rams game, and lead us, because I don't know if McDermott and the defense will do that for us. I can't see it. I can't. It's going to be it's going to take Allen and this offense to score a lot of points for us to go to a Super Bowl. Like, honestly, just play perfect football offensively, because I don't trust the defense and I don't trust Sean McDermott in tight situations.
Well, the thing is, it's like, so, my evaluation for a while has been the NFL is moving to pass balance, and pass balance is a twofold thing. Defense have been playing light fronts. They've been playing heavy pass, and that works when you're in fun ball era. But now that the league has moved, you have to have the defensive qualities to stop the offensive qualities. And you guys have it on offense, not to the level that I think maybe you need. I think you need a little bit more inside as far as talent. I like 3-year offensive linemen a lot, and 2, but
David Edwards.
The continuity has made a lot for you guys. But the problem was, and that's what I said going into this game, is that the Rams, when they're healthy, they have a hell of an offensive line.
Yeah.
And when you add in a hell of an offensive line and a hell of a quarterback and 3 hell of receivers, it's very, very tough to stop that bend but don't break thing. You've got to be stout and get teams off schedule. And when I watched the Ravens, and I made that evaluation going into the season, but when I watched the Ravens work you guys over on defense, I said, that's your Achilles heel. And, I'll get back to Anthony. But the last part is, and this goes for my Dolphin fans, look at McDermott. Even had Leslie Frazier there for a while. These are very good components, but it takes great components in order to win a Super Bowl. Because as you get closer and closer to that moment, the pressure, the opposition, the talent, the challenges, it takes a higher and higher level acumen. If your goal is to win a Super Bowl, you need a great GM, you need a great team, and you need great coaching. And so I think that you have some great pieces. I think I don't know, I won't say he's great because, but I think he's very, very good. He could be. Allen's obviously great. You've got some great components. Yeah. But there's some thinness on your defense. And then I do think McDermott has a little shaky bones in him. We'll see how it plays out. But then for my Dolphins, is McDaniel great? He's even very good. I don't know. We'll see. Is Greer great or very good? And so I think that's really the litmus test. When you look at guys like Peyton and Reed, this is greatness.
Yeah, so, I agree.
Anthony, get in there. Tell me how not so great. Here he is. Zach's here. Tell us how not so great the Bills were last week, if you have anything left to say.
Hey, Zach.
Zach, hey,
how's it going, guys?
Go on, brother. Zach, good to see you.
Good to see y'all.
Hey, we were just talking about how not so great the Bills were last week. Do you want to get on that bandwagon? We don't do it often. I'm a Dolphin fan, so maybe next 4 weeks things will change. But get in there.
Doesn't happen much, so it's nice to be able to finally talk about it. We've kind of been waiting on this all year. That was a pitiful game by that defense.
Pitiful.
Letting up 40 points. They had, I believe, a stop towards the end of the game. Tom, you can correct me if I'm wrong. That kind of set them back into the game, but then
that's what got us down by 2.
But after that, still
9. Sorry,
they had pretty much no chance after that, and really before that. Kudos to that offense for what was the initial deficit? I know it was some
99-0, I think.
That would have been nice. I wish. But I know it was not that close all game, so kudos to that offense for kind of bringing them back into it. But
superstar.
That was but that defense has to be better. You can't be having performances like that if you want to make a playoff push.
Special teams too. So the defense gave up 30 something, and then a special teams gave up another touchdown. So unacceptable. Yeah, and you won't get far. You will not get far like that. But I will say this about the Bills: we don't often. It's not often that we do give up that many points. In a game. Baltimore, got it. Did our defense pretty good. But other than that, the Rams. But we don't really take it to the shed a lot on defense. Our defense is normally bend don't break, pretty sound. But yeah, the problem is once you face a team like that, well-coached, offensive-minded, a really good offensive-minded head coach, they know, okay, this is McDermott. This is what he wants. Nickel, soft zone. We're just gonna slice and dice them up and down the field. And if they score touchdowns, see, our thing is holding them to 3 or getting a turnover. But once they start scoring touchdowns, that's when things start snowballing for the Bills. And that's when Allen it has to be perfect. And the offense has to go perfect. And it doesn't always work that way. You're not going to get an Allen performance like that all the time. You know what I mean? Like where it's just like, he's just can't be stopped. And even so, he's still lost. And Allen, the performance almost of a lifetime, had the most fantasy points. If for all you fantasy nerds out there, man, most fantasy points ever, highest amount by a quarterback, and the first ever to have 3 passing touchdowns or 3 rushing in a game, and we still lose. So all that great stuff is going to be swept under the rug because you lose. Nobody will look back and talk about that game.
Hey, Tommy, that reminds me of the end of Blade Runner, like tears in the rain.
But that's what I'm talking about. My coach, like I always tell people, you don't realize, like you're scared to get rid of McDermott, but at the same time, you're wasting away Josh Allen's prime. You're wasting it away. And years from now, we'll go back and damn, what if we got a new coach, a new voice in here, a new direction? You never know. You can't be scared of change. You can't. Look at some of the sport teams around, just in every sport that made a change. You don't think there's college coaches out there that were beloved by their fans, that were winning, all-time winning coaches or whatever, but just couldn't get the job done? And they finally moved on and they won a championship, or a team that was well put together, but the coach for some reason couldn't figure it out. New coach comes in, gets the job done. It happens. I'm not saying it can't backfire. You can't, maybe hire a coach and he's not the good one, but you got to eventually make the change. You have to. So that's all I'm saying with McDermott.
I think you need to start making a change. I think you need to.
Well, listen, Curtis.
Let me run the show over there.
Yeah, in time you have to.
First round kicker.
If you have a defensive-minded head coach, your defense should be stellar, and our defense has not been stellar. Plain and simple. If you have an offensive-minded head coach, your offense should be fucking pretty damn good. Like that. That's how it normally works. So our defense right now is in the middle of the pack, 15th, about 15th. In the NFL, that's not good. That's not good.
No, look, the reality is, all great teams in the postseason and Super Bowl, they all were able to stop the run and run the football to a decent amount. Those are the two qualities. And now that we've the cycle has moved from the previous cycle, it raises up a little bit more. And I just think it's Vaughn is not Vaughn anymore. Rousseau still is tremendous. You got to resign him. But then your linebacking group is not so hot.
That I disagree with you. Terrell Bernard is a really good linebacker. That I totally disagree with you.
But
Terrell
small.
Bernard is.
Yeah, but when
he's small, but he's not that small. I think Matt Milano problem with him is
221 pounds or something.
No, but he's a really good linebacker.
You're
wrong on that one. But the problem is, you're right, staying healthy. But he's relatively been pretty healthy. It's Matt Milano that's been the one that can't stay on the field. That's the problem.
But he's
because
small,
when you have those two healthy, yes, he's converted, and of course our coach loves
for me. It's about it's about design. And so if you've got a small DT, and
I think that's more of a problem.
If you don't have an elite front, and you guys play one gap or two gap, your DTs shoot or they play two gap, they occupy. They shoot, right?
No, they shoot.
So if they're shooting, that means those linemen are getting to the next level unless they're shooting at an extremely high level. And they're not. And then in the run game, Oliver gets pushed back. Daquan can't. Last year, you guys were much better because Daquan was a rock, and that would flow down the line of scrimmage.
Right. That's the problem.
We have the same problem, too, is because when those linemen are not being occupied, those small linebackers, they get engulfed. They can't attack, stack, and shed.
Right.
And so I just don't like that front combination.
And Sal's right. Like, that's what McDermott wanted. He wanted small, quicker defenders. But it doesn't. But the problem is, though, injuries. Look at our team. Like, it's always linebackers are always hurt. Like at least on Milano, our defensive line gets when we go against more physical teams, like offensive lines that are physical, we don't look good. Like I said, I think Ed Oliver's a good player. He just needs he needs a bigger DT next to him. That's better than what we got in Daquan Jones. Like it is what it is, man. But this is
Zach. What do you think? Well, tell Tommy that he's doomed. Tell him that dark days, dark clouds are coming because 4D chess, Miami Dolphins are poised to do something special. Come on.
Are you guys officially eliminated yet, or are you still holding
up? We beat the Jets, one of the top teams in the league. Overtime. Now we're going to go in next 4 playoffs, going to Buffalo, and then it's on to the Super Bowl with 17D chess, man. Come on, tell it like it is.
You'll be good. We have Buffalo 2 of the last 3 weeks of the season, so that's 2 losses for Buffalo right there.
100%.
Lose some confidence.
Sure.
So, all right. Who else we got to talk to? There's nobody else. Everything else was covered from last week, right?
Yeah, because Patriots were on a bye.
Yeah. All right. Well, who you playing this week, Mr. Patriots, man? I forgot.
Arizona. Our
the
last
Cardinals.
I mean, I don't think they're going to win. Just to the Patriots, I don't think they're going to win. Just to be clear, but I would say that this is their last somewhat winnable game. Last 4 games for the Patriots are going to be Cardinals, Bills, Chargers, Bills. They're not beating the Bills. They're not beating the Chargers. They're probably not beating the Cardinals, but I think they at least somewhat have a chance, even if that's a low one. It's just going to be about being consistent, really, in getting some short yardage gains, just playing safe football, if that makes sense. Taking the checkdowns, pounding the rock, all of that good stuff to just, in a way, tire out the Cardinals. And then defensively, first of all, I'm hoping Christian Gonzalez shadows Marvin Harrison Jr. all game, because that'll be a fun matchup. I know Marvin Harrison Jr.
Good film, actually, yeah.
I know he's been very boomer bust. I mean, there's been weeks, I said on a different show, there's been weeks where it looks like Marvin Harrison Jr. is the future face of the league, and there have been weeks where you don't even know he's an Arizona Cardinal. The hope is that Christian Gonzalez can make it more of one of those latter weeks where you don't know Marvin Harrison Jr. is on the field. Other than that, just containing Kyler Murray. The Patriots pass rush has been very disappointing. It is.
Tell us how disappointing. Explain. How does it feel? Does it feel bad? How bad does it feel?
And this may be this may not hold true anymore, but I believe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, Brendan Schooler, who is a special teamer and has played maybe 10 snaps on defense all year, got 2 sacks, and that was good for like 5th best on the team. Something ridiculous like that. They are not getting to the quarterback at all. And Kyler Murray is going to be able to take advantage of that. And when he is getting pressured, he's still going to be able to take advantage of that. He's a very good mobile quarterback. So being able to just contain him, keep him in the pocket, not let him make plays with his legs, that's going to be essential for if the Patriots even want a chance at winning this game.
Do they want a chance? Do they really want to win?
I don't think I wouldn't want them to win if I'm a Patriots fan.
Yeah, so
you want to be competitive.
Here's the way that I always look at it. As fans, or at least for the betterment of the franchise, you probably want to lose this game.
Take one for the team.
But nobody in that building wants to lose.
No.
Coaches have jobs on the line potentially. Maybe. But even then, I mean, coaches have jobs on the line.
Yeah.
Any season. Yeah. I'm not just saying Gerard Mayo or Van Pelt, Covington specifically. I'm saying every year, right? Coaches have jobs on the lines. Players have jobs on the lines. Front office executives have their jobs on the line. If you don't go out there and win football games, you're going to be done in the NFL, or at least done for your team. And for a player, let's say their team doesn't perform to the standard that they should, well, it's going to be a lot harder to find another team that wants you than if you're really having a solid season. So that's the way that I look at it. Is it beneficial for the Patriots to lose this game now that they're out of playoff contention? Absolutely, right? There's really no doubt about that. Are they going to try to lose this game? I would be shocked. Or do they inside the building want to lose this game? No, because they're not just football players. They are people who have jobs. These are their professions. They're not trying to tank their profession for potentially getting a shiny new toy in the building while they get kicked out.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
But they're going to get that shiny new toy, aren't they, Zach?
Yeah. Travis Hunter, welcome.
They're going to get a very, very shiny toy with a couple more losses.
Yeah. Well,
it's all right.
Probably.
All right. But the good part is, at least for your organization, is that everybody's got the first year mulligan. I think that, if you go to these so for me, if you guys are getting blown out and losing the way you are, and May wasn't showing, it would be ugly. But I think May showing the way he has, I think you guys have been competitive. I think even if you lose like a nice couple of games and it's competitive, I mean, that to me is the highest. I think that would be the highest one. But obviously, everybody wants to win. It's all about your resume, and it's very hard to get these gigs. So, Anthony, you know all about losing. Tell us, what do you think? Patriots are going to lose or not?
Yeah, they're going to lose this game. I mean, Arizona comes in with a strong run game. I think that's kind of the way this Patriots defense has played most of the season. That's the area that's concerning to me. James Conner, I think he's
brutal.
The guy you got to watch out for. He's just been, and he's one of those quiet running backs that just like kind of bruises every single year that he's been in the league since he was back with the Steelers. He's been the same guy, and he does it week in, week out, pretty much for the most part. A guy to be concerned with. I didn't even point out the Marvin Harrison, Christian Gonzalez. I think this really just comes down to running the football. When Arizona is on their game, that's what they're doing. They're running the football efficiently. Kyler Murray's a good quarterback and all, but that's really when this Arizona Cardinals team is winning games. They're running the football. And this Patriots defense, we've talked about it ad nauseum for most of the year. They're just not. Yeah, they're not the old Patriots defense that they once were. I think it's pretty much set in stone here. You just got to keep seeing development, seeing the positive signs out of Drake May. If you're a Patriots fan, I always say this, I'll never root for my team to lose, but I look at the light at the end of the tunnel potentially, if, they continue to lose and the draft stock and all that stuff. Obviously, you can look at things like that. But at the end of the day, you want to see his team at least show some fight and then end it off with a loss. Like last week was perfect for you guys, or 2 weeks ago, was perfect for you guys. It's Indianapolis, and then you get your kicker to try and kick a 68, 69-yard field goal, and he misses. That's perfect for if you're a New England fan. Oh wow, we lost because our kicker can't kick the ball 69 yards. Fine, great. But at the end of the day, you lose. You're out of the playoffs. You're gaining that draft position. Unlike my team, we find a way to lose and actually lose depth in our draft positioning somehow, some way. But yeah, I think it's a loss for the Patriots. Are we doing scores here? I don't know if Zach gave his score, but
I didn't, but I can. I was gonna go 27-20 Cardinals.
I was at 27-17 is kind of where I was at with this game, so I think we're in the same ballpark there.
Yep.
So,
all right. So Cardinals, I'll go, and then we'll save the best for last, which would be Tommy. Tommy wants to get some revenge. He wants to he wants to lash out. Cardinals, it's the offensive line. Like, if a team's got a good offensive line, competent play, and you're going against a team with a poor offensive line and a poor kind of defensive line, there's just too much consistency there. They're going to be able to pound that ball. They're going to be hard to pull the ears back to hit Murray. He's just too mobile. They're very scrappy. I mean, we went against them and they lost. They had the nice final drive for the touchdown. To me, it's all, and I hate to say it because I still hate the Patriots. I really do. I still hate them, man. We
hate ourselves at this point.
Yeah, but it's like, 20 years of like mental torture and PTSD. I don't want you guys to have another good quarterback. And I really do. I think May's showing something. I don't know how much will ultimately end up being. But I don't think you can win. I think it's going to be more like 24-17. Their defense is kind of aggressive. They can blitz a lot. They've got a lot of spunk in their defense, and they just seem to be coached pretty well. So to me, it's going to be. I watched them and I kind of controlled to a little bit. It was we put a good deal of points. I think it was our first 28-point game or something like that, or 27-point game. But we were really, Tua's been at it for a while, and we had the receiving group, but they just dialed up some very critical blitzes. So I'm very interested. I'm going to watch that game because I want to see that matchup between Yoga Gonzalez and Harrison, and I also want to see May, how he plays. So I think it'll be like a 24-17. But I think you guys are definitely headed, I think, in the right direction. Just not yet.
I'm with you. I think the Cardinals win. They're at home. They need this more than obviously the Patriots, right? So, listen, the Patriots offense not the greatest. I think it's been better. You rank over 31st overall, rush 13th, pass 32nd. But like I said, I think you guys have played better with May, obviously. Your defense, 19th overall, 20th against a rush. That will be the story here. I think the Cardinals will run pretty well against you. Cardinals offense isn't bad, man. They have some playmakers there. Kyle Murray, once again, man, he's tough to figure out sometimes because he just makes plays with his legs, man. And he can really like just do stuff that a lot of quarterbacks can't do because he can buy that time, and receivers get open because of that. So listen, man, at the end of the day, if you're a Patriots fan, you don't want to win, but you want to be competitive. I get that, right? You don't want to go out there and just get smoked. But I think the Cardinals, once again, I think they need this more than the Patriots do. They're at home. I just don't see the Patriots winning in Arizona. So I'll go
99-0.
No, I'll go 27-17 Cardinals, 27-17.
All right, so let's get to the big game of the week, the huge game of the week, Jacksonville versus the Jets. Winner takes nothing.
Winner loses.
Oh, no.
Who's going to be the bigger loser, Jacksonville or the Jets? Anthony, I know you're desperate. You're dying to talk about
So
it.
embarrassing if you guys lose. I'm sorry.
Sake, man.
Go ahead.
If they lose this frigging game, I don't know, man. It would just be disgusting. But with that being said, I think they're going to win this game. I mean, the Jacksonville's defense has been terrible all season long. We're seeing a torch almost week in, week out. Except for last week, they showed up against Tennessee in that disgusting game. I think they won that game like 10-6, 9-6, whatever the hell it was. It was disgusting.
I can't believe. Yes,
it's a disgusting game to watch. Feel bad for anyone who had to sit down and watch that game. But yeah, their defense has been pretty awful for most of the year. And then we look on the offense side of the ball. Mac Jones being the quarterback, former Zach's former guy.
Let's go.
Let's get him, Mac.
Let's go.
He has been terrible. When I was looking at this game,
whoa.
Talk about Mac Jones like that.
Macaroni Jones.
Jones.
When I looked at this game a few weeks back, I had a little bit of alarm for this game just because, where the coaching staff was at with the Jets and situation. I feel like it was one of those situations where Jacksonville with Doug Peterson can find themselves in a situation where they could find a way to outcoach if Trevor Lawrence was playing. Trevor Lawrence not playing. Mac Jones isn't the guy he was once upon a time in his rookie year. Looked like he was kind of trending in some sort of direction, just not, never really projected to be like an elite quarterback, but looked like he could be like some sort of game manager or something after his rookie year. He's not that at all anymore. I can't see again. I cannot see a situation here where the Jets find a way to lose this game, but they are the Jets. They've done some crazy shit this year.
We got to see some of it this week.
Oh my god, I would just be disgusted. I don't know. I would be lost of words on. I would my podcast on Monday. I would probably just be staring at a screen because I would have no clue of what the hell to say about that game if they find a way to lose. But nonetheless, yeah, I do have them win this game. Fucking A. I feel like every time I said they're going to win this game, it's been a loss.
So
I'm saying
every game, just about.
I think I got to look back at that one. But anyway, I'll have the Jets win this game 24-7. I just can't see Jacksonville doing much on offense. They've been awful without Trevor Lawrence there.
All right, Zach, tell us how Mac Jones. Tell us how Mac Jones will beat the Jets.
Yeah, so as Anthony said, Michael McCorkle Jones has kind of fallen off a little bit since his rookie year, but playing up against the Jets will reignite that. All right, the flame is back for Michael McCorkle Jones. That is his real middle name, by the way, if you guys didn't know.
He reminds me of McCorkle, doesn't he?
Yeah. But with that being said, I do actually want the Jets to win just so that they knock themselves out of a better draft pick. So let's go Jets, 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 Jets.
There you go, got the chant.
Yeah.
I'm good saying that chant. Say
Yeah.
it again. Say it again.
Lost a lot of games with that chant. Yeah, Patriots.
J-E-S-T, yes, J-E-S-T-S, jest.
They should probably start learning how to spell loss because they've done a lot of those. But I'm just football, man. Yeah, I think that the Jets do actually probably have this one. Maybe I'm biased because I want them to win. Usually I'm biased because I want them to lose. It's a different week, man. That Jaguars offense is just awful. I mean, Mac Jones is Mac Jones. ETN fell off a cliff out of nowhere. I mean,
it's crazy.
He's been horrible. Tank Bigsby has been all right, but I mean, when Tank Bigsby is outplaying ETN, it's not really a great thing. The receiver room is fine. Brian Thomas Jr.
I mean,
Brian Thomas
amazing.
Jr. is a great player.
He's good. He's really good. BTJ,
but outside of that, I mean, it's nothing jumps off the sheet. Defensively, again, I just don't really think they have much there. So decent pass rush. Other than that, I just don't think that the Jaguars can keep up with the Jets. We've probably said that a lot of times this year with other teams. They can't keep up with the Jets until they do. But yeah, look, the Jets offense actually has talent. The Jets defense actually has talent. The Jaguars team as a whole doesn't, except for Brian Thomas Jr. and Joshua Hines-Allen. Other than that, it's a pitiful team. So I am going to go with the Jets here to knock themselves down from like the 5th pick to the 10th or something like that.
They're actually at seven right now. They were at
they
6.
are. Strength of schedule is really
seven.
Huh. Strength of schedule. They must.
Tennessee.
Yeah, that's tough. But anyways, I will have the Jets win it. I'll go 20-6. I don't know. It's gonna be an ugly 20, and it's gonna be an even uglier 6. Yeah, 20. It's gonna be bad.
Good Lord.
I'm just putting the.
Might be the first week we all pick the Jets.
I'm giving.
Terrible.
I'm giving them some bonus points there on that 20 because I have Devontae Adams in fantasy and it's the playoffs and I kind of need him to go off. Cooper Kupp got me a nice little goose egg, so yeah. Hopefully, out of that 20 points, it's like just 3 Devontae Adams touchdowns and a missed PAT, and that would be very nice. I would like that. Then I'll do another. Then I'll go with another JETS Jets chant if that happens.
That's fantasy team.
Yeah, hopefully. That's kind of how I roll.
Sweet. Come on,
got money
Tommy.
on the line.
Predict the Jets.
Yeah,
loss.
Listen, man.
You got it in you, man.
They're winning. The Jaguars are terrible. And Mac Jones is so bad. I said Mac Jones was bad the day he was drafted to in New England. He's going to be a journeyman quarterback. He'll bounce around. I think he's a serviceable backup quarterback. But the Jaguars were bad before he even was, got the position at quarterback because of Lawrence injury. So I think even when Lawrence in here, I think the Jets would have still won because Jaguars is just not good this year. And it's weird because they got a good coach. I think he's a good head coach. I don't understand what happened with the Jaguars this season because they had decent weapons. So I have no idea, but the Jaguars are just not a good football team. And neither are the Jets. Don't get me wrong. Jets are terrible. But
how terrible, Tommy? Tell me how terrible. Expand on terrible.
Well, they're 27th overall in offense. They're 31st overall in rushing. They're 19th, and they're 25th in scoring. That's how horrible.
How do you feel about that, Anthony? How does that make you feel? Do you feel like really terrible? Do you feel like you're gonna?
But there is good news. There's good news, Anthony. You're going against the 28th overall offense and the 32nd overall defense. So, you should win this game.
We may have just our second victory Monday of the season this week.
If you guys lose this game, man, I don't know what to tell you. But I have you guys win this game. I'll go. Burn it all down. I'll go. I'll go 24-9. 24-9. The Jaguars offense is disgusting. 24-9.
15-10 Jaguars take it. That defense is going to work over your offensive line. Rodgers is going to be running around. He's going to get Alzheimer's and senility.
That 32nd ranked defense of the Jaguars.
I swore I would never pick the Jets again after they burned me like 6 or 7 weeks in a row. I don't care. They could be playing my grandmother and the geriatric reward, and I'd be picking them over the Jets this season. So I don't know. Max sucks. This team's no good. But I just believe I have great faith in the Jets. I believe they can continue to do what they do so well, is do the unbelievable, but in converse and shoot themselves in the foot. I think that they're going to somehow have the will to find a way to make me feel great. And so at 15-10
on the cake for this season. That would literally.
I can't believe it, Curtis. You're going.
I swore I would never pick them again. I picked them like 6 or 7 weeks in a row. I said, "That's it. I'll never pick them again."
You were sipping the Kool-Aid early on.
Oh my God, that would just be.
I didn't know they were on full retard all season. You know.
Oh my God,
Aaron Rodgers sold you. I think you went to one of Aaron Rodgers' retreats with him.
It's not even mathematically possible that they could lose all these games. It's like they hit lotto in reverse with all these it's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Really.
It is. I honestly listen. Like I said last week, I can't believe how bad you are this year. I had you winning. I had you winning at least 9 to 10, like around that range, and you are terrible.
You've exceeded all expectations to the reverse.
I am surprised. I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought a little better from you guys, but holy shit!
You're challenging the Patriots.
Yes, like that's exactly like the Patriots just may.
The lowly loser Patriots. Tell us, Zach. Even the lowly loser Patriots.
Holy shit!
Are challenging the lower, more losing Jets. Not like my Dolphins and Tommy's Bills. Top of the line. What are you looking for?
I was just grabbing the Super Bowl rings. I just had to,
lowly
loser Patriot.
I like it.
I don't remember that.
A lot of rings.
I don't remember that.
I got hit in the head. I don't remember.
We don't remember those.
I remember the 70s and some of the 80s, and that's pretty much it.
Sorry, that wasn't.
He was doing a lot of acid back then. A lot of acid for Curtis.
See, that's the beauty of memory loss.
A lot of acid. Oh, whoa!
Damn,
taking us down memory lane.
There's more.
No, there's more. You know what? You know what? You're not going to find in there a perfect season, Zach. You're going to find that perfect season.
Oh my!
It ain't in there, baby. It's only in my box.
Congrats on your 1-12-win season. Real proud of you guys.
That's all right, man. Still one and only, top of the charts. When they look down at seasons, they go, "Whoa, perfect! Start with the Dolphins." I'm like, "Oh yeah, look at these guys. They had a lot of last."
Hold on. All these rings didn't fit on one hand. I need another.
Unbelievable, this guy.
Whoa, I almost knocked my microphone off.
By the way, hey, real quick, I know that's not AFC East talk, Curtis, but what do you feel about that? I don't know if you've been paying attention to the Brett Favre and I forget the guy's name, the guy that had a sack.
Yeah, the sack.
Yes. Did you watch any of that? Yeah, Gastineau. Did you see? Okay, so remember Gastineau, Mark Gastineau, old school. Of course you know him. You were right. So he had the sack record for the longest time.
He's won it. Zach's gone. He went looking for the perfect season. He can't find it.
So
I dropped like half the rings from trying to find him.
He confronted Brett Favre. You didn't see that? He confronted him about him taking a dive for Strahan.
He did. He took a dive. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So he's like all pit. He's like, I want my sack back, Brett.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And Brett Favre's like, whoa, man. Like he went to go handshake him. No handshake for you, pal. Bro, it's so funny.
That's great.
He definitely gave it to him 1,000% because they were up 9, I believe, with like 2 minutes to go. Last game of the season.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a run, and he audible out of the run, and he ran
to a naked bootleg. Michael Strahan.
Get the
hell out of here with that one.
Right in his direction, and his offensive lineman like just whiffed. Like it was totally.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, it was BS, man.
Yeah, it sucks. But at the end of the day, like, who has the record?
Did you get all your damn rings off?
Yeah. Don't worry. Oh no, they're going back on. I just had to find.
Oh, you son of a gun! See your damn rings.
Just a little reminder.
All right, we don't even have one. Still, leave it. At least the Dolphins have something. The Jets have something. Leave me alone.
Nah, the Jets barely have something.
We got something. Don't worry about that. We got something. I don't know.
We got a lot of something. We have
Dang, look at that. Unbelievable.
Whole lot of somethings.
So what's the story with this stuff? Is it
to show you that? Oh, I'm sorry, Anthony. Go. What's what you're saying?
Yeah. What's the story with these rings over here? That you just got replica things, or what do you got over here?
Yeah,
those are the real deal.
You guys don't really have to worry about those.
Real deal. I'm just wondering where.
Those are the real deal. Tell him, Zach.
No, I have worn the real ones. I've worn Kraft's real ones actually, but I
did you? Okay.
Yeah, but these are fakes. I wasn't able to steal the real ones.
Well, I would think if they were.
You gotta tell us how'd you get your little mitts on Kraft? You know Kraft? You got to be someplace.
I got like 2 years ago. I got invited into like the trophy room and the all that good stuff. So
that is cool. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, so I got a picture with all the Lombardis.
Sweet. Nice.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, a whole lot more Lombardis than in the rest of this.
Leave me alone.
Hey man, you got a lot. I got perfection. And we know everybody's got something except for Tommy.
We have an AFL championship, pal. How about that?
Hey, that's not half bad, right?
That's right. AFL Kings, pal.
All right, so I'm gonna show you my fairness, and I'm gonna put Tommy's game last. So we'll do Dolphins and Texans. I'll go first. I don't know. I was really thinking the Dolphins were going to lose, but I'm looking at offensive lines really beat up. Scruggs going to be out. They got the draft pick from a couple of years ago. What's Kendrick Green starting? Maybe there's a way we can win. I don't know. It's really hard for me. As soon as I get too close to Sunday, man, I start getting some hopium. I just, for me, it's, Ken Mixon run the football. We couldn't even run the football against the lowly Jets and their terrible run defense. We 44 yards. And so I don't like the fact of us being in that situation because in all honesty, I mean, Anthony's got Williams and, they kept us out of the red zone and they were down one of their top corners. They've got 3 solid corners, 3 rotational ends. And if we can't run, it concerns me. But if that offensive line there breaks down, Stroud looks like he's getting a little nervous. Maybe we could pull it out. I don't know. My prediction last night was 30-24. Dolphins lose. But because I saw all those rings there, I'm going to have to change my stance. I can't predict because I forgot I'm playing 17D chess. Scott Baker's got 31-24. I don't know. I saw the Texans go against the Packers. It was a close game. They played them tough, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. All right, Anthony, you get in there, man. I'm still picking my team. Andy, what do you think?
Maybe I'll help you out.
Help me out. Tell me we're gonna win.
So I know we've been talking about this game a little bit over the past few weeks about this being a winnable game. I've never really kind of fallen on that. I mean, I think it's possible it's the NFL. Playing this game in Houston, I know Houston hasn't been the team they were a year ago, but they're still a pretty solid run team. CJ Stroud, he's got weapons there, plenty of weapons nonetheless. This defense, again, still not what it once was last year, but they run a very similar scheme to what the Jets normally run.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, there was a period of time where the Dolphins were struggling with what we were operating with for the most part in that game. They were marching the ball down the field. Once they got into the red area, it wasn't pretty for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is a toss up, but I just think the Dolphins are kind of in that situation here where unless they can run the football, which they haven't proven they can do much this season, Texans can control games, and that's something that we kind of take for granted a little bit here for the most part. I got Texans win this game. Just that home advantage is just a little. I think that's what kind of takes me on the top. This game is being played in Miami. I might kind of lean towards Miami a little bit here, but this game really is a toss up. I'll go Houston. We go 21-17. It's not gonna be a blow up by any means. They'll keep it close. I just think.
You think they're gonna hold the Dolphins to 17 points? Oof. Maybe. I don't know. We struggled, for a couple, but we've been putting a lot of points on.
I think controlling the clock is probably where it's going to get a little different here. I mean, the Dolphins run game. I mean, if the Jets just run the football a little bit more in that last game, they can control the clock a little bit better. I mean, they were running the ball well. I just don't know. They deviated away from that because they were passing well too. So I guess that has something to do with it. But if you're able to just kind of control the clock on the Dolphins a little bit, run the football, they've been kind of getting beat down in the middle a little bit here. So maybe that's something that Texans can take advantage of. And they should. I mean, they're
really beat on that offensive line. They're down. They got if they get one injury on one of their guards, man, they could call you up and ask you to get. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know much help I do, but we'll see.
Yeah, I know. I think the Dolphins will be able to put a little bit more than 17. Yeah, I think they'll be able. I think 21, 24 has got to be the lowest that I think they're going to be able to put on. I think Tua is going to be able to get some action going, just whether they can put it into the Reds, to get touchdowns. I think if they start trading field goals like last week with you, I think it's going to be a lot harder for them. So, all right. So you got this 21-17. Zach, tell us about my awesome Miami Dolphins, how they're going to win and convince me to go 30-24 Dolphins.
Yeah. All right. So it's crazy that you say that because I was about to go 30-24 Texans. I was actually considering.
It's been nice talking to you.
I was gonna go with the Dolphins, or at least I was considering it, but now I had to cancel out your little vote. So, but look, the Texans' offense again. I feel like every time I talk about having firepower, having talent, and it's not that the Dolphins don't have that, but they haven't really been able to take advantage of it as much this year, at least as much as they should.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans, it feels like they get hot when they need it. Look, CJ Stroud, I know he's having an off year, but he's still a very good football player. Nico Collins is back. I think he's he's potentially a top 5 receiver in the NFL. I mean, he is unstoppable. Look, he's fast, he's big, he can really do it all and do it all at an elite level. So I think that he is an incredible player. Tank Dell maybe hasn't had as good of a season as everyone would have expected, but still a talented player nonetheless, and a quick one who can be a playmaker. And Joe Mixon has really come back out this season after getting traded for a bag of chips. He has risen to the occasion. Has really been a safety blanket for Stroud and for that Texans offense. They're able to lean on him when they need it. So I think that while the Dolphins offense will perform somewhat strongly. I think the Texans will just barely outdo them again, 30-24.
30-24. All right, Tommy, convince me.
I think this is a game that the Dolphins can win, but you know what? I was going to pick you, but now I'm not. I think the Texans are going to edge you out, but I think it's going to be a close game. If the Dolphins win, it wouldn't shock me though. At the same time, the Texans have not been playing good football as of late. But I feel like you guys are kind of evenly matched. Texans defense overall 5th. That defense of the Dolphins 9th. I mean, you guys are evenly matched kind of there on the defensive side of the ball. Offense 18th, your offense 19th. I mean, really, really close. Joe Mixon,
Awesome.
Joe Mixon is really, really solid. I think he's going to have a good game versus you guys. Nico Collins is the real deal. CJ Stroud's having an up and down season, sophomore season. But it is a home game. It's a very important home game for them. They need this one, same as you guys, but I think Houston will edge this one out, but I'm going to have it really close. I'm going to go 27-24 Houston. I think it could come down to a last minute field goal, like a last drive field goal. Houston wins it on a field goal. But it could go either way. It really could. I think the Dolphins have been playing better as of late. But I just think the Texans being at home, maybe that's advantage a little bit. They are 4-2 at home. The Dolphins are 2-4 on the road. So I'll go the advantage Houston just for maybe the home field part of things. If this was in Miami, maybe I would swing the other way and go Miami. But I'll give the Texans this one because they are at home.
For me, I keep going back and forth, and Moster's going to be playing, and he's a huge piece. They've got to run inside. This defense has got 3 good corners. They can kind of keep the leverage. Petrie's going to be out, so they're going to be kind of weak in the safety group. But those edge guys are going to be good. I just don't, if Teron was in, I definitely think they would win. Paul, I think, looks good, but they're going to have to rotate coverage towards him. That's going to leave Lamb being expected to handle more with less. And I don't like Lamb going against Will Anderson. Was it Will Anderson's, right?
Yeah.
And, he's only 243, but Lamb suffers against power, and he can bring the pop and the moves. And Mixon, I think they're going to struggle to run inside. I think Campbell and Seal is going to be able to handle that. I don't think Chubb is going to be as big a deal because both their tackles are pretty good. But I just think it's the balance. And I don't know if we're going to be able to bring the balance because, and I'm not against you, Anthony. I joke around and all that, but your run defense is not good. I mean, Williams does add a lot of juice to the interior. But since all you guys have picked against my team and it's on my channel, I feel like I'm obligated, even though I picked us to lose last night on my live 30-24.
No, if for record, I did find the time. So according to Curtis, can the Dolphins shock the world by beating Houston? I don't know if they're going to shock the world. I don't think Houston is the greatest show on turf.
Yeah, but
if you beat Houston, I want to be shocked. So I don't know about the shocking. You think it would shock the world? I think it would shock the world.
Well, think about this. How many good teams have we beaten in clutch moments?
Well, that is true.
On the road. Early in the evening, you said McDaniel's no good because he can't beat good teams, Curtis.
That's a fact. You know what? That is 100% true. But I don't know if
it might not shock the world, but it'll shock you.
No, it wouldn't. I just said earlier it wouldn't. But it wouldn't. But I also said Houston's not been playing very well, and it wouldn't surprise me.
And it's a critical moment for us.
Critical moment for both teams. So.
But it's a more critical moment for us because we're in our 3rd year. We're expected to go someplace.
I know, but I just like I said, I think it's going to be close, Curtis. I don't think you guys are so unevenly matched where Houston just has you guys.
It could be. I wouldn't be surprised if we blow them out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got blown out. I think it's really going to come down to keeping those quarterbacks, without getting blasted. I mean, Tua gets the ball out quick, but those three cover guys can slow down that pass. And we fold like a cheap lawn chair. In the same token, I watched Stroud look like a chicken with his head cut off when the pressure was coming on. They've changed some stuff. Like early in the season, they had no pass rush mitigation. They were calling very low play actions and very low screens, and they've started adjusting it. They've been bumping up the number. So both these quarterbacks have issues, and both teams have good defensive lines. And that's why I think the balance is so big. And I don't know if we're going to be able to do it or stick to it. And I don't know with Kendrick Green, who's been pretty poor. He's had one poor game. I think he gave up like 5 pressures and stuff. He had 2 other solid games. So it's really, look, if the Dolphins win that from where we're at, it would be very shocking, especially to a lot of Dolphin fans. So we'll see. I'll say it. I'll flip it. Why not? 30-24 Dolphins. I think that's where it's going to be, like 30-24.
It's a close game. I think it's a close game.
I think that somebody's going to get like a touchdown. It's going to be like a final drive type.
It'll be a 1 score. Whoever has the ball last potentially wins the game. I'm with you, Curtis. And I think it can go either way.
I want to believe the Dolphins. I just, we got to see. To me, I don't believe in Greer and his build. I believe in elements of the team. So if they prove me wrong tomorrow, I'll be happy in some ways. I'll be happy, because I want my team to win, but I hate to be wrong. But I'd rather have that than go into an ugly rebuild with Greer, who I don't trust. I prefer that. So I'll say 30-24 Dolphins.
I will.
All right, guys, that's nice. There's no other big games. There's no other games this week that are worth talking about.
If you lose that game, though, I would say that would be we're done. We're finished. Yeah, that would be the end of it.
Yeah. I mean, if we lose that game, I don't know. We'll see. I take it one game at a time.
I mean, mathematically, you're still in it, but I just think I don't.
But there's so much more at stake than just that.
That's what I'm saying. I know. So, I'm just saying, I think you need this. You have to have this.
Yeah, this is a huge game for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
It's a huge game because there's, a lot of fan base like me doesn't believe in Greer and his build. And, you lose, you win, and then there's a lot of people like, okay, we'll see. So,
right.
So Dolphins win. Everybody's in agreement. Consensus.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's talk about the Bills getting run up and down the field by Detroit. Tommy, do you want to go first or do you want to go last?
It don't matter. Look, man.
So you're in agreement that you're going to get run up and down the field?
No. I think our defense responds after that terrible outing against the Rams. I don't think it's going to respond where they're going to hold the Lions in check. I think they're going to respond where it's going to be a little bit less of a, output of scoring. But I think this is going to boil down to who makes the most mistakes on offense, honestly, because I think it's just going to be a high scoring game. But turnovers are going to play a key in this game, big time. But look, man, in a dome, Allen thrives in these kind of conditions and better conditions. I mean, you saw what he did in LA.
The defense is beat up.
Yeah, Detroit's they're getting some guys back, but either way, we've caused the Lions fits when we played them in the past. We beat them in Thanksgiving, which was a great game, by the way. It was a really great game. Came down to the end.
I remember it all.
Yep. You remember that one? It was a couple years ago. Anyways, look, man.
I don't remember my kids' names.
Yeah. The key to beating the Lions, though, honestly, man, and it's tough, is you gotta control the run game. You have to. They have a 1-2 punch over there. And if we can do that, then and make them one dimensional, I think you can start to slow their offense down, because you see the Lions, when teams start getting after and slowing that running game down, they've had some fits against the Bears. They've been in some close games where their offense just totally went away in the second half because teams adjusted and got after that run game. So in golf, if you put pressure on him, he makes mistakes. He can turn the ball over. So stop the run, put some pressure on Goff. I know their offensive line is the best in the NFL, so easier said than done, but you still need to put pressure. You have to figure a way to apply pressure. And if that's some exotic blitzes by the linebackers, corners, whatever you need to do, you have to put a little bit of pressure on Goff. As far as the offense goes, the defense of the Lions, they're pretty good against stopping the run, but you need to run the ball a little bit more than you did last week. 9 times is unacceptable. You got to get James Cook a little bit more involved, Ray Davis a little bit more involved. It'll open up play action. It'll help Josh Allen out. We are getting back Keon Coleman. We're getting back Dalton Kincaid. So we do have guys coming back. So our offense should look even better than it did last week, in my opinion. We are without Rasul Douglas. Ingram, I believe, will start over him. So that's interesting to see how Ingram holds up in place of Rasul Douglas. But other than that, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think either team is going to win by more than a 2 score. So I'll go Bills 40 to 34. 40 to 34 Buffalo. I think it's a close game, and it really could go either way, honestly. But I'm gonna pick my Bills because we're gonna have a bounce back game there. So 40 to 34 Buffalo.
All right. Andy, what do you think?
Yeah,
You think Tommy's going to get a deuce of a loss back-to-back or what?
It could happen.
The NFL's a weird league. The Buffalo Bills allow 44 points last week, and then teams adapt, teams figure it out, they get things straightened up, and the following week come out a little differently. I don't think that's going to be the case here for Buffalo. It's a tough opponent to go up against, especially coming off a poor defensive performance like they did last week. If there's any team you don't want to play coming off a game like that, it's the Lions. Lions are they're a grown man football team.
Yeah.
That team is scary to play against. That offensive line is just behemoths. They're outstanding. They run the football better than anybody else in this league. They're just that damn good. And if that running game gets going, say what you want about that Rams game. They didn't run the football that much. I mean, I know they got 90 yards at Kyron Williams, but they went out there and they passed the football. That was how they attacked the Bills. Lions don't give a crap how bad you are at covering. They're going to run the football first, and then they're going to open things up. I think this is just a really poor time to play the Lions. Not saying that the Bills can't come out there and get a win. It's just going into Detroit after that game that they just had against the Rams. Detroit's going to go in there and they're going to smack the Bills in the face and go out there and run the football. But with all that being said, I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. I just think the Lions are going to control this game, with that run game. I have it at – so it's really tough because Lions defense is also kind of ran down a little bit too with injuries and stuff like that. They do have some guys coming back. I have both teams going over 30 points. 35-32. It's going to be high scoring for sure. We know that, but I just think that Lions run game is just some scary to watch.
I will say too, we didn't get to practice all week. We had a walkthrough today or Friday, so not good. So
that's practice all week.
No, it's snow.
Snow? Yeah.
Really?
So we had to stay. Yeah. So they got in yesterday for a half day light practice.
They don't have any indoor field, nothing.
They couldn't get out of their house. They couldn't get out of their house.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
Wow.
So they just said stay home because they don't want them to get in an accident, anything bad can happen on the road. Yeah, so they just, what?
Scary.
So
you guys are gonna lose.
Well, I mean, for health, hey, a little less,
it'll be refreshed,
right?
So, refreshed.
I don't know.
They've been sitting down all day.
I gotta think of something positive from it.
Zach, tell us how the Lions are going to beat down the Bills. The Lions are going to be eating Buffalo this weekend.
Yeah. I think, first of all, this is going to be a Super Bowl preview. This is going to be the second most important Lions versus Bills game of the year. And I do think that this game will somehow, some way, come down to a stupid Dan Campbell decision that will probably end up working. I want to say that. Look, when Dan Campbell goes for these, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago?
That was crazy.
When he went for it on
30-yard line.
Yeah, that was, and he didn't get it.
And I know, well, no, they did get it, and
no, they didn't get it on their own
Earlier
30.
in the game they did.
The other
They
one,
didn't get it. Later in the game, they did it again.
Later they did, but not
in
the
the
one on
end
their.
zone. They got one. They got one.
Yeah, but not the one on their own 30.
I was talking about that the one that they did get. I hated that. Like I know it worked, but in my opinion, that was so stupid. And look, we saw it last year too in that 49ers game in the playoffs. Like they really lost that game because Dan Campbell wasn't willing to kick a field goal, which would have put the game out of reach. These are stupid coaching decisions. But the team is tough enough that for whatever reason they work. I think that's what this game is going to come down to with, I mean, obviously both teams are incredible, right? As you guys both said, it's going to be a close one. I have 36-33 Lions because I really just do think that something weird is going to happen at the end of the game. Maybe not on the last drive, but towards the last drive, or that the Lions are going to do something funky. For whatever reason, it'll work because that's just what they do. And they're going to win this football game. But it could be, I mean, look, both teams are great. The Lions are just, they've been dealing with so many injuries, and it does not impact them at all. That offense is, it doesn't really have that kind of star power, but they're just they're such a well-oiled machine that it's.
You're talking about the Dolphins? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the Dolphins.
Yeah, it was spaced out there.
Well,
like, oh man, he's talking about the Dolphins.
Yeah,
That's nice.
well-oiled machine, that Dolphins offense.
The Dolphins of Detroit.
Like I said, the Dolphins don't really have a lot of star power, but they're a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. Whatever.
Oil's in the wrong spot.
And that defense, again, the Lions won, not the Dolphins. So many injuries, but they're such a tough team that
they are.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't impact them.
You're dumb to figure it out.
Yeah. So look, but then on the other side, I mean, Buffalo, Josh Allen is a magician. I mean, he can really do it all.
He's glowing. Look at him. He's glowing. He's glowing inside.
Come on.
I can't see how he doesn't get the MVP this year. That would be Simon Robert.
Yeah, I think he gets it this year finally. Yeah, I do.
I think it's either. I mean, I think it's him or it's like
Saquon.
I could see Saquon.
But NFL is weird. They don't give it to running backs for nothing, man. Even like Cooper Kupp should have won a couple years ago. He had an all-time receiver season.
McCaffrey should have got it last year if we're going to be real. But
I think that there's a chance Saquon gets it just because people are like excited
talking about
him
it so much.
Yeah, so excited about him.
Tommy just made look at Tommy's head turn. He was like this. He's like.
I think it goes Allen.
He got you hurt, and he was visibly hurt. You reached inside his chest and ripped out his heart.
I think if he gets the record,
it could go either way.
I think it could go. You could possibly see a co-MVP if he gets the record,
Maybe.
But I think it would.
Tommy's reaching now. He's desperate.
Normally it goes to a quarterback, though. Traditionally, it goes to a quarterback. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, the MVP is a quarterback award. The only thing that makes me think potentially Saquon is just how ridiculous of a season he's had after leaving his former team for their biggest rival and making them pay for it. Like, a lot of the MVP is media attention and, who
I will say this though,
the
Zach.
most headlines, and Saquon Barkley is probably the best story in the NFL right now, in my opinion.
I will say this though. They will, if Allen has another performance like he did against the Rams against the Lions,
he locks it up. Yeah,
he locks it up. And not only that, I think they're going to look at overall what did Josh really have this year, and most people, wrote off the Bills to start the season. He doesn't have anybody to throw to. Josh Allen won't. This team, you know what I mean? So he wasn't supposed to really have a great season according to the national media because we didn't have no Diggs. What's Allen going to do now? No Diggs. He has no weapons. And I think Allen's proved that he doesn't have to have that super, super star in Diggs to still be special and be one of the best, if not, the best quarterback in the NFL. So that's what he's doing this year.
Here's the thing about
season of football. If Gianti wins the Heisman and Saquon running back win Heisman and MVP in the same season would be
give it to Cam. Give it to Cam Ward, baby.
I mean, I think it goes to either Gianti or Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter is the one everyone.
Yeah, Cam won't do it. They won't give it to Cam because we fucked up and lost against Syracuse. But
I mean, with going back to the MVP race, if I believe Saquon Barkley this year has been tackled at the 1 yard line 10 times. And out of those 10 times, he has, in the next play, he scored 0 touchdowns because they just push it with Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. If he got those touchdowns, he would be well over 20 on the year.
He took a lot away.
Potentially be the unanimous MVP. So will the voters really look at that and think hey, he's having a great season on paper, but when you look at the games, he's really having an even better season? Maybe. But I could also just completely see them going, hey, Josh Allen, he's had some of the most ridiculous, in single games performances, some of the best that we've ever seen this year. And maybe that will kind of propel Allen forward. It'll be close, I think.
Yeah, just look at touchdowns on the season for Saquon. I hear what you're saying, but 13 touchdowns total on the season, receiving and rushing, versus Allen had friggin' 6 last week alone. The week prior, he blew up as well. I think touchdowns where you got to look at and say, I hear you're saying tackle at the 1 yard line, but I don't know if the voters are using that as a reason for or against. If you just blew up and had got the record, got some receiving yards there too, almost a 2,300 yard all-purpose season, which would be outstanding. I can see something like that, but I just think I can't see how they go away from Allen for MVP, but
if the Bills lose this week and then the Eagles finish with a better record, then that's
maybe, but they don't always go by that. I think it depends on. I think it's see how Allen does against this team, against the Lions.
When you look at the definition of the reward, most valuable player, who would you say is more valuable to their team? Saquon on the Eagles or Allen on the Bills? I think we could all understand.
Yeah, but I don't think they go off of that. Let's be honest. They don't do a lot of shit. I'm not. Look, I agree that Josh Allen probably should be the MVP, but I'm just trying to say it's a tight conversation.
I think if Allen does win it, I think Barkley will get a vote or two. You know what I mean? I think he might get some votes, but I think Allen does deserve it, to be honest. I think he's due. You know what I mean? So if he has another performance, which I believe he will against the Lions, like he did last week, then I don't see a reason why you wouldn't. You can't, because he is the Buffalo Bills offense. He is really everything to the Buffalo Bills. I mean,
he's everything to me. Tommy said he's everything to me.
Curtis, hey. You know how I met Curtis, guys? He made a Josh Allen video years ago. So apparently he is everything to Curtis, because Curtis made a video about how special Josh Allen is. And I'm like, what a nice guy.
What a nice guy. Yeah, but I don't walk around with Josh Allen shirts on and gently caress it as people are talking nice about him. Woo.
Okay, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, no, Allen's a star, but he's gonna lose this week.
If you look at
you look at the Ravens, and the Ravens, they have that big front. Zietler's 340, Sewell's 335. I just think that they're going to be able to pound it a little too much. I think that your defense is just not going to be able to handle it. I think they're going to have balance. I don't know if you guys – I think you guys will. They're getting a lot of guys back. I was looking, their linebackers are coming back, and I think one of their safeties. In the end, balance is going to be key. It's a lot for Allen and this offense to put out those points last week. It takes a lot off. And then, you said maybe 1 or 2 practices this week. I think Detroit's home. It's going to be extremely loud. And it just is the offensive line size. You guys have a great continuity, but your defensive front is just a little too small for me. I think the Detroit line. I think it's gonna be a good game. I never take the Allen out of anything, especially if it's a nice controlled environment on the turf. But I do think Detroit takes. I think it's a close one. I think it's more like a 28-31. I think maybe one of these teams might get ahead a little bit, and then there'll be a catch up. I think maybe the Bills might fall behind again, and then they'll too little, too late. It's a lot to ask, when you've got that small front against. I mean, Sewell's a monster, and Zietler's a monster. He was with the Ravens last year. It's part of the reason why they had some problems. So I think Detroit's on target. And so I'll definitely say that, but I do think Allen will just have another. He should be MVP. I don't see how. I like Barkley, and he's doing a great job, and he's a real talent. But Allen hasn't won yet, and he's separated himself from every other quarterback. Really, there's no other quarterback that's really in his. I mean, Burrow is really close though. I mean, Burrow has lost like 5 or 6 games.
Too.
Yeah, well, no, he's not having. I don't think he's in the same.
Hold on, let me pull up the stats.
I think Burrow's having unbelievable
Burrow's having a monster year, man.
Yeah, I think it'd be Burrow and Allen.
Both. Chase is friggin'.
I think Burrow. If you look at just like who's carrying the team more, I think it'd be like just Burrow and Allen. Burrow's just having a phenomenal year.
He's playing. He's playing. Yeah,
Herbert. No, I don't think Herbert will be in the MVP conversation, but he has 1 interception this year. He is on an I think 11-game streak of no picks.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And because it's not really being talked about, because he also, this is why he shouldn't be MVP. Only 2,700 yards, 14 touchdowns, because the team around him is awful.
Yeah, he
they drop a lot of drop passes too.
Yeah,
every time I watch Chargers,
receivers.
Yeah,
they got rid of all their receivers: Keenan Allen, Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they went all in that offensive line, run game, and just the general concepts, but to stabilize that team a lot more. So, I like the direction of them.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Chargers run the ball all day. Yeah, well, that's it's the way you stabilize it. So anyway, I got Allen should get MVP, maybe Burrow, and they're going to lose. And so, anybody else think anything else they got to talk about here? How the Dolphins are ready to go 4D.
Yeah. Anybody want to rant on anything before we leave?
Nah, I think I'm good.
What a 45-minute rant about the Dolphins and Jets.
You guys did pretty much. All right.
I tell you, Tommy, my son he's circled that game, Bills and Lions for like 3 weeks now.
He should have. I think a lot of people
he wants the Lions to win, but he likes the Bills too. So he's waiting, man. I'm gonna be watching that game intently. He's like, Dad, we watching the game. So I'm really excited. It's gonna be a fun game.
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely. I think a lot of people are looking forward to that game.
Well, yeah. What's Burrow's? He said they're saying Spin's saying Burrow's not even close that compared to Allen. I don't know.
He has 33 touchdowns, 6 picks. I think I just checked. Yeah, he's first in the NFL in touchdowns, first in picks. Sorry, not first in picks. First in yards. 6th in 6 interceptions. He's ranked 2nd in QBR. If his team was not
better record.
Yeah, if
the defense is terrible now.
Yeah, they didn't get off to an 0-3 start.
I also think Zach, though, he has like unbelievable playmakers.
He does, yeah,
on the outside.
I mean, Chase is.
I think that Allen should by far be. Allen and Barkley, I would say, are by far more.
Yeah, those are the two that are. Yeah, those are the two in the race. I think,
but. It's still first in yards, first in touchdowns, 2nd in QBR, and only 6 picks. That's hard to argue against.
Yeah, it's incredible.
If his team didn't stink, then he'd have a chance.
Yeah, I'd fire their coach, to be honest with you. I think it's time for them to.
Oh, yeah. He's put him out on the platter for a long time.
Didn't he win a coach of the year like in his first year or Super Bowl? Like that?
The problem is, though, ever since then, he gets out. They always get off to rough starts to start the season. And it's unacceptable with the talent that he has on.
Well, they got robbed in that KC game. That they should have won that KC game, but the refs took it from them.
Yeah, well,
the pass interference late in the game. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know. And wasn't there like a touchdown that Gesicki had that they called back or something, and they found out later it was a touchdown?
In that game, I don't remember that. Maybe, I just don't remember.
When it shocked me.
That was week 2. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely got robbed in that game.
All right, Curtis, sign us out of here.
All right, guys. I appreciate everything. Anthony, you're a real good sport. I rib you, but man, I think you're a great guy. I'm really enjoying the time together. Zach, you got yours. What? Yeah, you and me. I mean, yeah, we'll see. Maybe my team will turn around. Maybe we're going to win next 4, and I'll be proven wrong. We'll see. I do. I really want to see the Jets back to being a good franchise. I mean, I want them to lose, obviously, but I think a good competitive AFC is just always more fun. I know the Patriots probably loved it, but it was just such a terrible division all those years. Yep. I'm sure you loved it, but it's just not fun. I like when it's a good, like 2 or 3 teams are good in the AFC and they're really vying for it. So
but
I do
also,
hope
I mean, it seemed a lot worse because the Patriots were winning so many games. Like that hurts the rest of the division when they have 2 automatic losses in there. Respectfully,
I think the Jets gave you like a little bit of a challenge for like 2 or 3 seasons, though, a little bit.
Yeah, and you guys did towards the end.
Yeah, well, we had
you guys played them well.
We were more like a thorn in the side of the Patriots, except the one year when Brady went down.
We're like the brother that wins, little brother that wins a basketball game every once in a while.
But anyway, Zach, dude, you're a great kid, man. I enjoy, and you're really smart. You know the game a lot. I really do enjoy. We'll have a couple more weeks. This guy's going to college. He's looking to be a big time. So take a look at his face now. Maybe one day you'll see him on the ESPNs of the world or something like that.
And it is my man. Don't forget where you started when you're all big time.
Curtis Anthony. Who? I don't know you. Who? Zach, remember me? Remember me? No.
Depends on how much trouble your teams give the Pats. If you guys give us some wins, then hey man.
How you been, bud? Don't forget about me when you're covering a Jets Super Bowl, right?
Oh, Zach.
A what?
In his dreams. You and Tommy, man, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. You're like a brother to me, man. I appreciate it. You want to start this whole thing, so thanks. And everybody here, man, I appreciate you sticking around this long. Everybody I know we're different teams and all that stuff, but in the end, it's like it's a game. Just enjoy, have a good weekend, enjoy what happens, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody. Curtis, Anthony, Zach, and soon to be Dolphin loving Tommy says,
"Yeah,
catch you soon."
Go Bill.